Thank you very much. The gentlelady yields back the balance of her time, and the chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Iowa's 1st District for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Chair Latta and Ranking Member Castor, for holding this hearing on the current state of nuclear energy. As a young girl, my father was a nuclear physicist technician in the Air Force and was one of the people who shut down the nuclear power plants in, if I recall correctly, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, Sundance, Wyoming, and then was at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So to be where we are today, when just 5 years ago as a state senator meeting with environmental groups, when asking about energy and the need for energy, we're told no nuclear, we indeed are at a pivotal moment for American nuclear energy. After decades of stagnation, market forces, national security imperatives, bipartisan policy are finally aligned. The question before us no longer is whether America needs nuclear energy, but how quickly we can deploy it. Iowa understands energy leadership. Our any of the above strategy has made Iowa a top 10 state for affordable electricity rates. Governor Reynolds recently signed an executive order establishing the Iowa Nuclear Energy Task Force. The task force will work to align state policies with federal regulations, engage with manufacturers to cultivate a nuclear supply chain in Iowa, and identify opportunities to enhance economic growth through nuclear energy. A key focus will be supporting the restart of Duane Arnold Energy Center and ensuring Iowa is positioned to attract future nuclear development. NextEra Energy is working to bring Duane Arnold back online by late 2028 or 2029. And part of the reversal in nuclear plant closures and the reopening of Duane Arnold is the ADVANCE Act, which this committee championed, is critical to making these restarts possible by streamlining licensing, reducing regulatory duplication, and creating more predictable timelines for project approvals. But Iowa's story is America's story, and while our nuclear industry stagnated, as has been pointed out, China and Russia surged ahead, now accounting for 94% of reactors under construction worldwide. That competition isn't just about electricity, it's about American jobs, domestic manufacturing, exporting knowledge and equipment, and secure supply chains. We've watched critical skills atrophy and lost a generation of nuclear expertise. Rebuilding our nuclear energy industry means rebuilding the workforce, supply chains, and the industrial base that comes with it. Dr. Wagner, you mentioned the national laboratories have maintained nuclear expertise even during decades of stagnation. And let me point out that the Ames National Lab in Iowa was actually instrumental in World War II by developing a process for high purified uranium and supplied uranium to Chicago. I think it was about 2 million pounds. So we know the national laboratories play an important role. What role can INL and the broader lab system play in preserving and transferring knowledge to the next generation of commercial projects and helping with the workforce issues?
So thank you for that question and the rich history there in Iowa. And actually, thank you for your remarks. I couldn't agree more with the remarks that you made, particularly about the global implications. But so we actually have maintained capability, but not at the level that we need it to be. And so one of the things that we've been doing and assisted greatly from congressional actions and appropriations is reestablishing our capability to do these things again. While we had core nuclear expertise over these time periods, there was a period, particularly from 1994 to 2005, when there was no focus in the national laboratories on new nuclear energy. And so, of course, that's changed, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But some of the key projects that I talked about already, the Marvel microreactor, some of these other microreactors, are reestablishing our capabilities at the laboratory in terms of expertise, but also with the Department of Energy, the capability and the capacity to do the safety reviews and authorizations and all this and exercise that. NEPA in the modern era, all these different things are being exercised right now that will not only prepare and help the commercial side, it will develop that workforce and supply chain that we so desperately need.
And speaking of workforce, there's a plethora of questions I have, but I just wanted to recognize the life and career of Professor Nuno Luera, director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, who was senselessly murdered in December, which again takes away in fusion energy, part of that development and mentoring of young individuals. If I could, Mr. Williams, you mentioned about financial support. I'm just going to submit this for the record to be answered because I'm running out of time, but 2 questions. Can you explain why this type of support would not end up paying for mistakes that a company like Southern Company or any other company responsible for building a plant might make by having financial support? And how long would Congress and the federal government need to financially support this industry? And what does it mean for nuclear development going forward? I think those are very important to us, getting up to the speed of other nations for more data centers and AI online. And with that, I yield back.